This is
Exactly.
the second, the 2.0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hold on. No live yet?
Yeah, that's what meeting and it says live. Yeah.
All right, I was just making sure we're not echoing. All righty, let's get going. There's more people waiting. Hold on a second. Someone, 11 minutes. We got Alex and Alan. Okay, so let me get these guys in. All right. Welcome to Sports Show, guys. Give me a second. We're doing introductions. I'll get you right in. Hold on 1 second here. I got to get my stuff ready. All right, live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It is the Jersey Boys Sports Talk, brought to you by the Sportscast. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to all our channels, Sportscast. We are on YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes. We're streaming live out on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube. You can go to Restream, put in your comments. We prefer if you go to YouTube, put in your comments in YouTube. I'll try to go back and forth. I can open up one of my other computers here. And today is March 23rd. This month is flying. Lots of birthdays. My son's birthday, things are going on. March 23rd, 2023. Please, again, subscribe. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk podcast on your iTunes. Go to the little purple podcast or look at it in apps. Go look for Jersey Boys Sports Talk and just type that in, Jersey Boys Sports Talk. And once you do that, you will see the background that's behind me. Click on that. You'll see me and my buddy Byron. Click on our show. You'll listen to our show. You'll be able to download. If you go to YouTube or to any of our sites, you'll be able to download the mock draft for you fantasy lovers. Byron has put a lot of good stuff together. We also have the depth chart of the Giants, which will be changing, obviously, with the draft. So we have an Excel sheet for both the mock draft. We have an Excel sheet for the Giants roster as it changes. And there was a couple changes that happened today. So we're trying to provide some good information and have some fun at the same time, Jersey style. And Mr. Byron Jones, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
You got whose shirt you got on today now?
Clemson Tigers.
Clemson. Is Clemson in the bracket? They're out? All right. So before Alan, I did. Okay. So what I want to welcome to our show, Alan West and Alex Quirk. Alex Quirk is our boy from Maine, and he's a Giant fan, a young gentleman.
Right.
Rather intelligent. We love having him on our show. Alan is also always welcome as a guest, and he's going to go, I think you're going to go over the NCAA bracket. Is that correct? You can talk something about that? All right, great. We're going to talk to you about that. But beforehand, I got to do my thing. So I'm going to do my thing. And Alex, you're looking pretty good today with get the beard going. You look older with the beard, doesn't he, Byron? Right.
He's coming out from hibernation in May.
He's in May, that's right. You're supposed to be growing the beard when you're going into the winter. So, hey, I want to just give a quick shout out because I used to lecture there. I don't know if you can see that. Nova Southeastern University here. Let me just undo this here. You're going to see nothing but darkness, but don't worry about it. Choose background, none. You can see me. All right, Nova Southeastern, the Sharks, they're in the NCAA national championship. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that, about their coach. Their coach, who's taken them to the national championship, is coaching against the team that he built, and he's playing them for the championship, West Liberty. So it's the Nova Southeastern University Sharks versus the Western something West. I forgot the name of it. I got it here somewhere. But anyhow, that's pretty impressive for a coach to go from one conference to the other and now have two teams in the championship. I lectured at Nova Southeastern University, but I also want to get a special shout out to Dallas Graziani. Dallas Graziani is and coach his father Where'd you go, Alan? His father, Coach Steve Graziani, was my son's AAU basketball coach. And we played with 7 players. That's it, because he only wanted to have players, and they played all the time. He was a great coach. He has also another son, an older son, Steve. They both played. Graziani is a redshirt freshman. He is a 5'9" starter. He has the highest assist to turnover ratio, meaning good. Like he's got like 42 turnovers versus like 300 or 280 assists for a 5'9" guy starting as a freshman. God bless the Graziani family. Shout out to them. I wanted to say that one. I lectured there. I know we're going to talk about the bracket. And watching him play, he was on. I was watching him just before play. They beat the team they beat just finished beating. Now the national championship is in 2 days on the 25th. So go Sharks. And that's Division II basketball. And God bless him. 5'9". Just so you know, he would play AAU, but he would always play 2 grades up. And he was always he's 5'9" in college. So imagine how big he was when he was playing high school, right? I'm just telling you that he would play 2 grades up all the time. And he's a tough young. His brother's also good. His father's a great coach. His mom, great family. I just want to say congratulations to them. And you know what it is to coach your son and to get a scholarship and to be, height challenged to play basketball is pretty impressive. And when you watch the game, they talk a lot about him because of his size. And the fact that he mixes it up, the fact that he's smart with the basketball. So shout out to him in Division II and, all the other divisions, because I know everybody else is getting divisions going on. So let's get going. So, Alan, are you on for the whole show, or are you on just for a segment to go over some of the NCAA?
It's up to you guys. I have time. I'm just watching the games right now because got the first 2 games going on where Michigan State and Kansas State are playing. And Arkansas and UConn just went to the half, and it's not looking good for Arkansas right now.
The must bust not looking
I want
great.
to just show you. See me, I'm all suited up here. So Al, I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna start a little bit. Byron, is it okay with you? How's the weather over there, Byron? I don't know why you have a shirt on that has no. Is Carolina in the tournament?
No.
Okay, so I just showed you Nova Southeastern University. They're in the national championship for Division II. You both are wearing college shirts that aren't in the NCAA, so I don't understand the point of that.
Hold on.
Either wear a giant shirt.
Hold on. Whoa.
Let's not disrespect the GOAT Lady Gamecocks, who are, I believe, like 32-0.
Oh, okay. Kind now. You should have corrected me. I forgot about that. She's awesome. That's right. That coach is phenomenal. Yes.
Yeah, Don
Yes,
Staley.
go ahead, Alan. Who?
Don Staley is the coach of South Carolina, and that's who, for the women's bracket, that's who I'm picking to win it all. Because they're undefeated.
Isn't this their second or third year in a row or something like that?
Well, two times.
Yeah, that lady, she's phenomenal. She's a really good coach. So I apologize. I take that back, Alex. So it's Byron.
Well, listen,
Alan,
the men's team
you're
is
not wearing any shirt?
trash.
All right, so Carolina, good for Carolina. I apologize. Okay, so I just showed you Nova Southeastern University and.
Oh, okay.
I got UCLA. They're in the bracket, right?
Jeez, man. They're gonna lose that.
I'm doing a Byron Jones. When we did the when we had the playoffs, were you on the show, Alex? He had the Eagles, he had Dallas, he had
Giants, everything.
It's disgusting.
He was representing the best division in football.
He had a Washington Commanders thing on. So I don't want to hear nothing. Plus a Giants shirt. All right, so you got UCLA because they're in the tournament. That's number 1. Okay, but you know where I live. I'm in South Florida. So if I'm in South Florida, you know who my team gonna be, right?
Tampa Bay.
The Heat. Oh yeah. It's nothing about. It's all about the U.
Oh, geez.
So I had a flip shirt, and just so you know, I also have a Princeton shirt. So there's like out of the teams left. I have a shirt from every school. I have about 20 or 25 shirts just like this from from the schools themselves. Since my kids were in grammar and junior high, every time we would travel to the United States, we would spend 2 additional days in the state that we were in, and we would go to the major universities because I wanted them to get used to college atmosphere. So just so I didn't have any problems in high school. I wanted them to show that college was high school without parents. So I got a Carolina shirt. I've been to Princeton, Rutgers. I got a lot of them. So anyhow, so I was going through, but since we moved, I only had a few. So I was going to wear Princeton. I have Duke. I was going to put them on, but you know how to represent University of Miami. So
And
that's it.
You'd have passed out from the heat, all the shirts on. Come on, man. Really?
I'll text you the shirt of the show. So the real quick, and I'll let Alan go next. This is too much talking for myself. But so my son played, high school basketball, played AAU and so forth. And, I would wear khakis or whatever, and I would coach and so forth. My wife used to get upset because she was every time I would walk into a game, I'd have a shirt on. But if I had a Hurricane shirt, this and that, but if I had a Duke, where I was wearing a North Carolina shirt and I walked in to watch the game, willing to pay, they're like, "Oh, coach, come on in." I'm just scared to watch my son play. So let's say I pay, I go in, I sit in there in the stands, and I used to have my iPad. I would take my son's stats. I was always looking at, because I coached him also. So I'll take stats on things that he do. And you know how high school kids are. "Oh, my God, who's here to see? Oh my God." They all thought I was like a scout from one of those, but particularly if I had a North Carolina or Duke shirt on. Anyhow, that's my story, and I'm gonna let it go. And Alan, why don't you take over? You want to bring up? You want me to bring up the bracket?
Sure, go ahead.
Do you have it? Or do you have it? Do you have it up? I'll let you share your screen.
I do not have it up right now. If you want to bring it up, go right ahead.
All right.
The thing that I'm noticing, go ahead, because for the Miami, I'll give you props for them, but I'm not as confident that hopefully they're going to make it all the way, just because Jim Larinaga is a heck of a coach, because out of what he did at George Mason before coming to Miami. But for your other shirt, UCLA, when they had a player get injured at the end of the last game, I'm a little worried about that, because with him getting injured, if he's not back, they already had one of their other players tear a ACL at the Pac-12 tournament. So
this is UCLA.
UCLA, yes.
Yeah,
and then for Houston, they're doing okay, but Sasser is their main player. He got hurt, and if he's not 100%, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
What's his current status? Is he available? Because I was out the second weekend.
Last I heard, they haven't said anything about him yet. So I know they pulled him, I think, at halftime. I want to see if he's going to be back, because they play tomorrow, I believe, and it's a little iffy, just because I've been even watching the games today. Kansas State now is ahead of Michigan State, which a lot of people are picking Kansas State to win this game. I have a hard time doubting Tom Izzo as a Spartans head coach because of how successful he's been in the tournament. So even though right now Kansas State's up by 4, there's still 4 minutes and 34 seconds left to go in the game. They are not going to be, it's not going to be a game that's going to be a blowout anymore.
Can you see this?
I can. So for Alabama and San Diego State, I'm curious to see how Brandon Miller is going to do in that game.
Mom's calling somebody.
Okay.
Whose mom is that calling?
Not mine.
Not mine either, unfortunately.
So we have
Hey, quick shout out to Fairleigh Dickinson.
Exactly.
Fairleigh Dickinson from Jersey, Princeton from Jersey. I have a Princeton shirt too. I just didn't have it with me.
Forgot St. Peter last year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Fairleigh Dickinson, they didn't even win their conference tournament. Merrimack won the conference tournament. The only reason Fairleigh Dickinson made is because Merrimack jumped from either Division II or FCS to Division I. and because of that, they were ineligible. So that's why Farley Dickinson got in, and so they were able to not only get in, but they became the second 16 seed to upset a number 1 seed. When Farley Dickinson made the tournament, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, they hung a banner in the rafter because they won 1 game. I'm pretty sure they got a bigger banner getting ready to be put up in there, and they earned it.
Well,
They're going to miss.
Byron, remember we used to play against them. My college used to play against them. So we used to play, so Fairleigh Dickinson was pretty fun to go to and see. But listen, hey, you got to give Princeton credit, though, for being an Ivy League school. I mean, it's not like Ivy League schools don't give out scholarships. They give out academic scholarships. They don't give out athletic scholarships.
Well, when you go to an Ivy League school, they give you, I met somebody who had to fill out the application for it. They gave you 7 different essays you had to fill out, besides like a 30-page application.
7.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have finished 1.
Exactly. No, when I saw that, I was like,
right,
that's insane.
Whoa.
I mean, just saying, you didn't want to finish at 1. I mean, think about it. I just think it's funny.
No.
Princeton, but still, Princeton's been playing pretty good basketball, though.
They are.
Just overall. I mean, just in general, I'm just impressed how they can get that much talent, right, to be able to play, to go that deep. To go that deep in an Ivy League school, it can't be that easy. I mean, Jeremy Lin went to Harvard.
Yep, he did. The thing for I'm actually going to pick Princeton over Creighton. I think that they can win that game. So
interesting. You made a comment about Izzo, right? When I picked, I've won the bracket several times, believe it or not.
Okay.
And when I have won, and then long time ago, I would lose quite a bit because that's why I hate Syracuse. Because back in the day, remember, Byron, Syracuse basketball was really good.
Really good.
Really good. But they would get knocked out in the first round.
Every year.
Yep.
So I don't like Jim Boeheim. And then the opposite happened with me. When I started picking Kansas, I started liking Kansas and I started liking some of the things they were doing. When I've won, it's because Kansas went all the way. And when I lost, because I would always pick Kansas, like they lost early, then it would just kill my whole bracket. So when I did play a bracket, because I haven't played in a couple of years, but when I've won, and I've won at least, I would say 7 times, that's pretty good.
That's impressive,
and the one time I lost, I was tied and I picked the bracket in an hour. And the reason I lost, I lost on points. So me and the other guy were tied. And for some reason, I picked too high of points. I was thinking pro instead of college, right? You know what I mean? Like the college scores are 73, 77. I'm picking high. I was a lot, and they're higher now because of 3-point. When I did lose that year, when Kansas won the championship, right? And that's the year it went to like double overtime, right? And almost went into like a triple overtime. I needed one more overtime. That's all I needed because we were both even. It really didn't matter who won that game as long as I won on points, right? So I needed just one more overtime that game and I lost. But my point being is sometimes I'll go, if I'm not sure, I'm not following it on it, I'll go with the coach, like the Villanova or an Izzo, you know what I mean? I'll go with the coach sometimes more if I don't know a lot about the team. So I kind of agree with you when Izzo or Nova's hot in it, those teams, they're dangerous, right? It's like they get that momentum going behind them. Byron was a basketball player and Byron teaches basketball to kids now, right, Byron?
Yeah, 13 and 14 years old. Yeah, that's the highlight of my life. They don't listen all day long, and I'm screaming. But they have shown improvement since October. That's all that matters. They're learning the game. They're showing improvement. That's all. I have one kid that's 13, as tall as me. So I'm grooming.
So let me ask you a question based on that, because Byron, when you played, actually when you and I played, right? But I wasn't a center. I'm not your size, right? Let me ask you, because I had to change my style like the last 2 years when I coached my son in grammar school, and which actually is what a lot of them are doing now because we didn't have size. We were suburbia. So we were just 3-point shooting. How are you teaching that kid? What are you teaching that kid to play? Because when we played, and particularly you as a center, you know, that position doesn't exist anymore. Like that big man in the middle, if you take it to the lane, I'm going to crush you, you know, like now guys your size and taller are shooting 3-pointers.
Well, guess what? The kid that's my size or taller, he ain't shooting no 3-pointers. He's in the paint. He is in the paint. I got him in the paint. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you do what you got to do, but I'm just saying to you that like that playing that it works, you know, because of his size at his age, but it's not going to be good, in my opinion, in the future, because that's just not, the game ain't played like that anymore. It's almost like every kid on your team has to be able to shoot threes.
Well, he's more a football player, so that's all we're waiting for that.
Yeah.
But he's more football.
Well, the beauty about basketball players that are football players are really good for their feet, especially big kids.
Yep.
And good hands.
They get good hands, feet, coordination, backward, forward. You know, the NFL used to recruit a lot out of basketball.
I believe Antonio Gates is a basketball player.
Yep.
I can't remember the couple. Who's the guy that played for the Saints who was a tight end? He went to Miami.
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham.
Thank you.
Gonzalez.
Jimmy Gonzalez was also a basketball player.
Antonio Gates.
Yep.
There's been a few.
Rick, what's his name? Pat Riley.
Yeah.
Got drafted by Dallas, and he was a quarterback. And there was a story on the radio down here, and he was telling them, and they go, "Really? You got drafted?" He goes, "Yeah, I was a quarterback." And I told him, "I go, look, if I don't play quarterback, then I'm going to play in the NBA. Imagine having that choice." And he goes, "I'm sure glad I made that." He goes, "I'm sure glad I made that decision." And the guy, the radio announcer guy, asked him, he goes, "Well, why was that?" He goes, "Well, we can't play you at quarterback because, you know, Riley's big, so he can play at other positions. How many quarterbacks in the NFL, Byron, that were quarterbacks in college and not playing quarterback, right? I mean, I think Edelman was a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And Riley, they told Riley, "Go, well, we got this young guy that we drafted, and we're going to probably stick with him." And Riley goes, "Well, you know, that was the best decision I made." He goes, "You know who that guy was?" He goes, "Who?" "Roger Staubach."
Good choice.
Yeah, I didn't know it. Yeah. So who do you got here? I'm impressed with Alabama, man. For Alabama basketball playing that well, you know, having a good football team, now having a good basketball team.
Yeah, well, I would, between Alabama and San Diego State, I'm picking Alabama. And I'm going to pick Princeton over Creighton.
Okay.
Between those,
I'll take that.
Okay, and then
I'll take Xavier over Texas.
Yep, that's what I'm picking as well. And then for Miami, they were playing Houston, so.
Woo, was that FAU?
Yep, Florida Atlantic.
Wow, good. Look at that. That's impressive. Let me tell you, Florida has a lot of good basketball down here. I just, you know, it's such a football state or baseball state. It just didn't seem to, you know, hopefully they would recruit, you know, earlier, but there's a lot of good basketball now. It's a big state, a lot of good basketball. So FAU, shout out to FAU. You know, it's not like they're a big school. We won our first championship when my son is 4th grade. We played at FAU. It was pretty awesome. Arkansas, UConn, who you going with there?
I picked UConn. I don't trust Arkansas, and right now, just with how the game's going, Arkansas's got a 17-point deficit. Arkansas's got a 17-point deficit to try to make up.
Now I feel bad picking UConn. I'm gonna pick UConn. I'm gonna pick UConn anyway because I go the same logic for me, like Izzo, like UConn. Once they get deep in there, you know what I mean. It's almost like they get that push, right? Is there? They got the same coach? No, he changed, right?
No, you got Bobby Hurley's son there. It's
Bobby Hurley's
son.
Who?
Bobby Hurley.
His son.
Bobby Hurley's coaching UConn?
Yeah.
Good for him.
And Danny's at Arizona State.
Yep.
Danny Hurley?
Yep.
Danny Hurley's the head coach at Arizona State?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That kid was really good. He was actually better than Bobby. he just didn't. Something just didn't happen. You
I
know,
don't know. Bobby Hurley was pretty good.
he was also on a great team with a great coach,
Yeah, that helps.
right? And he,
Yeah,
you know, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying to you, if you ask the two, Danny was the better basketball player. Bobby was he was a better floor general with a stacked team.
How many championships Bobby? I think Bobby won
That's
two.
not, come on, that's not fair. Bobby won, he was in it like 3 times though.
But he won 2.
He was 3 out of 4 years. I think he was in the, if not all his career. So,
but he's got 2 rings. 2 rings.
2 championships. Yeah, no, we can't doubt it. But it's just saying the difference between one player being better than the other, right? It's like Peyton. Peyton says Eli was a better quarterback than him. He's just, Eli didn't. I'm sharing you what Peyton would say. Am I frozen, guys?
Yes.
I am frozen.
Yep, there we go. I see your
Your
mouse.
screen's moving, but your camera's frozen.
My camera is frozen. I'm gonna fix that in a second. Okay, hold on a second. All right, wait a second. So well, anyhow, Peyton would say that he was better. It's just that he said that I just didn't like to study as much as he did. Right. So all right, so we're finishing there. Okay, what else do we got? We got them all. UCLA, Gonzaga. Where are you going with?
I'm going with Gonzaga.
Yeah, I'd go with Gonzaga. I had the shirt. I just wore the shirt for the show.
I'd pick Gonzaga and then eventually losing in the Elite Eight because that's just what they seem to do.
With Frank Timme, the world's oldest senior, he's been there like 7, 8 years? Because I feel like he's been there forever.
Hey, as old as he is, he's not going to beat Chris Wenke when Wenke played football. And George Mason at one point had a center there who was 37 years old, I believe, because he had been in the Army. And then he went to Mason.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the year when they played at Georgetown.
Yeah.
37.
Georgetown, that was a good program. That's a great coach. See, that's an example of a great coach, a great program, right? Because Thompson, Coach Thompson, God bless him.
Now.
I'm sorry?
I said, and how sad they've been in the last how many years after his son got fired.
Yeah. Yep. And then Patrick ran it into the ground. I don't know what happened to Big Pat, man. Woo, man, they were awful the last 4 years. Man, they were bad.
There's a reason why he was never a coach in the NBA. He's interviewed plenty of times for NBA coaching gigs. He never got one.
I wonder why.
Let's try to give him a chance. Yeah, you see why. You see why.
It was bad, man. They were bad.
Well, yeah, it's gotta be. I can't imagine. I mean, one, it's got to be hard to be a superstar and a coach because Patrick was a superstar.
I was kind of thinking about that. Yeah.
It's also got to be hard to be a true center that he was to coach in today's basketball. Like coaches, regular coaches can adapt, like Riley, Pitino, but when you're a superstar center, that's what I was telling Byron, you're coaching this big kid, make sure he's dribbling, make sure he's learning how to, he's got to use his handles, he's got to shoot threes. But it's got to be hard to be that kind of being a head coach and being a superstar center where that game is no longer played. They don't even have a center as an all-star selection in basketball anymore. It's guards and forwards. That's it.
All right, well, here's one thing for Georgetown. You guys saw the slam dunk contest 2-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mac McClung, before he went to Texas Tech, he started his college career at Georgetown. And he, I think, was there with Ewing for 1 or 2 years. Then he left, went to Texas Tech 1 year, then went to the G League, and now he's in the NBA.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, let me tell you, Georgetown's done a good job with their players. When Thompson was there, they all graduated. So who do you have winning it all?
Well, now I've had to change it up, but I'm going to pick the Tide.
Really, Alabama? Oh, man, I'm going to have to go on that show for our boy Justin Riley. Alabama, football, even though they're all football, they're going to use anything to be able to talk about basketball.
Yes, they are.
All right, well, let's get on with them Jersey boys. Let's get into the football. You ready to stay with us, Alan? Talk a little football?
Sure. Why not?
All right, let's get it on. All righty. So we got some pretty cool stuff happening. Mr. Byron has all right, so we got a couple things. If I join, will be second half of the show. Okay. Yeah, Andre may join if he's able to join. He's so
I
all right,
just have
so
to say,
anyways, let's talk about we're gonna go over your draft real quick, Byron.
Real quick.
I guess we should probably do that first because last time if we didn't do it. But the thing is, the only challenge I got is you said we didn't do mock 1 and you already got mock 2.
So I did mock 1. We didn't get to it last week, so I did mock 2 this week.
But is it changed?
Yes.
that's why it's mock 2, right?
That's why it's called 2.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't sure. Yeah.
And then 3 is less than 2. No, I know we went to school first and but we can at least count, man. Come on.
Hey, listen, I got offered to go to Columbia, so you stay quiet.
Yeah, okay. Sure you did.
Ooh.
I did.
Okay.
So what I did is I put it on one on one sheet.
Killing me, man.
We're really buying into the Anthony Richardson hype, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. So
I'm
okay, good, because this is his first one, Alex. Since you didn't
This is
see
the first
it,
one,
and if he changed it,
which I did change it.
I didn't want to go to 2. It's kind of weird to have a show and go right into season 2, and you didn't see season 1.
Yeah, but if they didn't see season 1, they wouldn't know about 2.
But then you should just left it at 1, and nobody would have known.
Well, I know.
Listen,
Anyhow,
sometimes the first season develops. Who watches the first season of Seinfeld? Let's be honest with ourselves.
Never.
I didn't
Exactly.
watch Seinfeld. I don't think I watched Seinfeld until it was in syndication. So
I
So the first season is not great.
So anyways, all right, so just for our listeners out there, we're gonna have this it's already available on our site in separate spreadsheets, but I'm gonna build them, Byron, as 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 all in one spreadsheet, right? So that way people have it and see the migration of it and the changes, because things could change till the 27th, right? I think is it 27th, 26th April.
27th, I think.
All right,
Yep.
so this is number 1. Okay, so we're going to go there. And then I'm going to answer your question real quick, Alec. I just want to make one quick comment. And then here is season version 2. So we're going to start off with version 2. So those of you who want to go, you got to go see the prequel. So really, this is the beginning, and the prequel is 1.0. All right, so talking about Anthony Richardson, when we were talking about the drafts of quarterbacks, Alec, the biggest issue that I kind of had was Byron and I's argument over the last 3 years, where quarterbacks coming out of Ohio State and Florida usually don't do well in the NFL, right? So now,
I mean,
Byron's
the jury's still out
going
on
to explain his
Justin
picks now, but I'm just saying Ohio State's up there too, isn't he? Where is he, Byron?
Yeah,
Is he
number
Ohio
4.
State?
4.
Number 4.
Oh, where is he? Number
4.
Number 4.
4.
The Colts.
So you got 3 quarterbacks, right? And 2 of them are out of schools that usually don't produce good NFL quarterbacks. And Bryce Young may be a Tua, right? I mean, he's tiny. So, and we got an analytics expert coming on, Mr. Andre Gisbert. Andre Gisbert is coming on right now. So, all right. Welcome to the show, Andre. You there? You coming on video?
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. All right, so hold on a second. Welcome to the show. Andre's our sports video and an analytics expert. Byron, you want to start off with go ahead, just go to the draft. Let's go to the draft, and then Alex, I want to hear your comments on the Richardson piece.
What do you want to know? Go ahead. Here. Right now,
your
I
mock
have,
draft. Go.
right now, I have Anthony Richardson first going to the Panthers. Why? I don't have a clue, but still. Then Bryce Young on deck, Will Anderson right there, Arizona Cardinals. They do need somebody on defense. The Colts do need somebody on quarterback. That's C.J. Stroud. I have Will Kentucky going to Seattle. Why? Because he's on basically a 1-year deal there. So if he doesn't do well, go ahead and draft a quarterback in the future. We have Tyree Wilson, a 6'6", 270-pound edge rusher from Texas Tech, Detroit Lions, to match up, to put on the other side of Hutchinson to fix that defense. The first cornerback right here coming up, Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. First receiver right here from Atlanta Falcons. They do need wide receivers, Jason Smith and Jiba from Ohio State. And then my guy that's going to be falling right there, Jalen Carter, because of the, he did settle with a misdemeanor charge and, probation and whatever. But, that little transgression, is going to hurt him because he's probably the best player in the draft. Got Philadelphia Eagles taking a running back. Since they got rid of, they let what's his name walk away, Miles Sanders. Tennessee Titans, they have the tackle Juan. He left, so they need to replace him with Paris Johnson from Ohio State. Miles Murphy, he could be a hit or miss guy from Clemson, which I don't have on there. Roderick Jones, they need to replace Becton. I think it's the right tackle they have now. He's been kind of a flop from Louisville Cardinals. He hasn't done anything since he's been there. New England Patriots receiver for Mac Jones.
Wait a second. Hey, number 13, did Aaron Rodgers sign off on that one? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Not yet. Quentin Johnson, 6'4" receiver from TCU. Mac Jones needs all the help he can get out there. 15, you got Green Bay Packers, Michael Mayer, the tight end, can block and receive. Another one, since you don't know who's going to quarterback and what's the best thing to help a quarterback, a tight end, since it probably be Jordan Love. Then we have Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter from where? Victor? Penn State. And who is his father?
Joey Porter Sr.
There you go, from Pittsburgh Steelers. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's we have where was that? Pittsburgh Steelers.
And look, the Steelers are close enough to possibly pick them up.
Yeah, close enough that they don't grab him first. Pittsburgh Steelers picking an offensive tackle from Northwestern, Nolan Smith with the blazing 4.39 speed edge rusher for the Detroit Lions. More help on defense. They need it all. Tampa Bay, because they might be switching Worth, the right tackle, to left tackle, so you need a right tackle, which would be Darnell Wright. Seattle Seahawks picks in their defense with Lucas Van Ness from Iowa. Since the Los Angeles Chargers love big receivers and receiving, Dalton Kincaid from Utah. Baltimore Ravens, more quarterbacks. They're like cornerback Davon Witherspoon from Illinois.
A lot of quarterbacks in this draft.
Corner. Zay Flowers from Boston College, 5'9", basically slot receiver. Should team up with Justin Jefferson since they let Adam Thielen go. You got Jacksonville Jaguars, Brian Brees, who really hasn't lived up to the hype because he was the number one player coming out from high school, and hopefully he'll get it all together. I have our New York Football Giants taking Jordan Addison from USC, another receiver, even though they got 9,000 receivers that they signed. I think they're up to 13 receivers that they've signed so far.
We just picked up a couple. We're going to go over that right now because I have a whole free agency piece.
Dallas Cowboys, offensive tackle. Might as well throw this guy out there. Anton Harris was moving up the board. I like this linebacker. I wish the Giants could have picked him since they need another linebacker. Buffalo Bills, Trenton Simpson from Clemson. My big other tight end, huge tight end, Darnell Washington from Georgia. And the Saints, New Orleans Saints, a cornerback, Cam Smith from South Carolina. The Eagles load up on their offensive line with the 345-pound lineman from Florida. He's a beast in the run game. And Maisie Smith, Michigan, last pick, first round, Kansas City Chiefs.
All righty. So, Alex, talk to me about the kid from
Florida.
From Florida. What are your thoughts there?
It's just more so that, like, I don't know. I think it was people were joking about the fact that the Anthony Richardson hype was moving forward. Like, this was a guy about a year ago some saw as a late first round pick, and apparently when he declared the draft at the beginning of the year, he was selected to go 9th. Ironically, in some mock drafts, to the Panthers. How is it all of a sudden he's being looked over guys? You mentioned, I think, Bryce Young being a bit smaller, or CJ Stroud out of Ohio State, because Anthony Richardson was just okay. They thought there was going to be a lot of great hype for him at Florida. Didn't really pan out this year. He had an okay year, but that's just more so just seeing him move up. That's more so where I'm like taken aback at all of a sudden he's the number one quarterback.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I
know,
again,
it was very
Ohio
loaded
State
there.
quarterbacks and Florida quarterbacks. But real quick, I just want to do something real quick. I want to ask Andre. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I'm doing, right? 6,
Pointing out the quarterbacks.
7, 8, 9. No, 9 of these players are all from the SEC. That's pretty much a third. Are all from the SEC. That's how much talent
Hold on,
the SEC
you
is
forgot,
stacking.
you forgot to circle Texas when they joined in a year or two.
Is it 2024? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
yeah. I count the old school legacy thing. Andres, what do you think about this draft? What do you think about the couple pieces? I got 3 questions on the top 3 quarterbacks. You got Bryce Young. That man, I saw him in the combine. He's tiny. I mean, and look what's happening to Tua, right? And then Florida. And then my other question is quarterbacks from Florida and Ohio State have not performed well in the NFL. What are your thoughts on that based on your experience?
I think the sleeper quarterback is the kid coming out of Kentucky,
Will Levis.
Levis. I got to see him play against us when I was at Youngstown State.
Right here, number 5.
Yeah, I honestly think he might actually go. He might actually go before Richardson. I'm hearing that Richardson is not doing good in meetings when they're putting him on the dry eraser board test. And if you don't have you can't.
For our listeners, what is the dry eraser test?
Basically going ahead and understanding what football concepts and what is his football IQ. So they'll give him an analysis of going ahead and doing, all right, show us what you think is quads, show us what you think is deuce, and show us what you think is pilot or ace, or, and just
those are defenses or those are offenses?
Those are offensive formations, just to kind of gather what he's under, what jargon is he using. Okay. In a lot of cases, a lot of these, especially the top 5 teams that have already been questioning him and sitting down with him, they're realizing they have access to his actual playbook, and he doesn't have a firm grasp of the playbook that he just played this past year. Now, I'm gonna put in big, huge, bold parentheses. He's on his 3rd, and I repeat, his 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years. So with that being said, I could see why the kid might get a little confused, but if this is what you just played an entire season on, you should have your playbook down pat, or at least the basic concepts of your playbook. And I think he might have all the mechanics, but there's something missing up there. And I think he might need a tutor. Maybe that's what it is. He needs a tutor to understand the playbook. In a lot of cases, these playbooks are too complicated. I remember once sitting there and asking my offensive coordinator, going, do you really understand? Why do we do this? And they didn't know. They just grabbed something.
Hold on, Andres. I got to slow you down a little bit. Okay. 2 things, couple pieces there. Shoot. Okay. So one, I want to say thank you to Alan West for helping us out with the NCAA. He had to go, dropped off. But so what are your thoughts on Bryce Young? I mean, Alex, what do you think? What do you think on Bryce Young? I mean, he's tiny. He's really tiny. I think he's smaller than Tua.
He's about Tua's height.
You're using the 2. It was almost or like, no, it isn't like height. It's like just bulk, right? Like
You're breaking up. Is that you or is that me?
But I was saying, like, Bryce wasn't necessarily. It's like his weight, big he is. I think he's like very funny. Well, I don't think that should be as much.
Yeah, hold on a second. Byron, what do you got on Bryce Young?
Same thing that Alex was saying, that he is he's a small guy, but 194, maybe they're going to devise a plan where he's not going to be able to roll out or do something, because he can't just sit back. He still has to be able to see over those big giant linemen, and it's just the size is going to be a problem. But then again, Drew Brees played 17 whatever he played.
Yeah, but Drew wasn't that small.
He was
Drew
6 foot.
foot.
6 foot and 5'10" is not really big. That much of a difference. I don't think it's that big.
It's a big difference. It's a
Which
big difference.
Now I
bro.
can see why.
Not when your
Richardson
average
took the look.
lineman is 6'4".
I was going to say Richardson's 6'4". All right, it's a thing. Not like he doesn't have any other tools, but I can see why.
The average offensive lineman in the NFL is 6'4". And you're looking at a guy who's going to have to throw in between lanes. And I don't know, maybe it may, or who knows, maybe he's the second coming of Flutie. You never know. All I know is there was a shortage of quarterbacks, and all of a sudden he's got a winning tradition. But I
remember
don't.
Drew Brees and Flutie, they were Flutie was 5'10". Drew Brees was 6 foot, but they weren't like 180. You know what I mean?
No, man, he's over 200 pounds. He's over 200 pounds.
Bryce Young?
The issue I have is what type of offense are you going to run with that guy? You're now looking at a very mobile offense that even when they run RPOs, he's only looking at his hot route and his hot route only. He can't go to option 2 if he's going to, option 2 if he really thought pass.
What do you think about CJ Stroud?
I think CJ Stroud has the tools, but didn't have the offensive coordinator over there at Ohio State. So, they had the best team in their one of the best teams in their conference, but I have yet to see an Ohio State quarterback prove to me that he belongs in the NFL.
Exactly. All right, well, we'll see. Byron,
I say that knowing that living in Ohio, that's going to piss a bunch of people off.
Oh man, they're gonna be mad with that one. Woo!
Yeah, he's 5'10", 194 pounds.
I still say right now, in the order of, you asked me which are my top 5. Oh, what's my order of the 5 quarterbacks? I think Levis from Kentucky. I honestly think someone's gonna end up taking Bryce Young either 2 or 3. I honestly think Richardson is the 5th one. I think the kid from Tennessee is better than CJ Stroud right now.
Hooker.
Okay. All right. So let's get into this the remainder of the piece that I got here. They're picking the NFC East and some of their draft picks. So Byron, what do you think about the signing for the Giants? Let's get back into them with the Giants. The Giants signed wide receiver Jamison Crowder, cornerback Amani, I can't pronounce his last name, and another tight end, Byron.
Another one.
Are you expecting that? That's got to get. You're going to put that next week on your depth chart.
Yeah, he's more like a blocking tight end.
Okay. What do you think about the cornerback and the receiver?
Well, we got 13 receivers that they've signed. So it's like, it seems like, and I said this earlier to Santiago. It seems like we're shopping at the dollar store, because everything, like 1 year deal, and they're just getting we're just going to the dollar store, just buying a whole bunch of stuff, and then maybe you can get 4 or 5 of them, to stick, huh?
What's the Daniel Jones cap hit? Get 1 or 2 years?
Oh, 2 years, the second year, but they can also cut him after the second year. So so they're
But who?
Daniel Jones.
I can't.
Yeah, but remember,
I can't believe those words are coming out of your mouth.
It's the truth.
Byron.
That could. It doesn't say will or should.
Byron, remember, the Giants were in a very weird predicament where they were having too few people on the roster, so they had to pick up a bunch of these dime store or dollar store contracts so that they could fulfill the minimum roster obligations.
What, 90,
by the
right?
CBA.
Like 90, I think it is 90.
You have to
So,
have
so
a
when they
minimum of
do
60
that, what is
signed.
that? What's the strategy behind that? Let me pick them up so I can cut them later.
Well, the problem is if you pick them up, you're
No,
picking
is that
up
the
a
strategy?
cheap guy that after the draft, then you're probably cutting them anyways. So you might as well pick up some dollar store or guys and bring them in, see if they're worth keeping around for camp or whatnot. Otherwise, you're looking at penalties for violating the collective bargaining agreement and having too few guys on your rosters.
And don't forget though that the practice squad team is now it's like what 16,
22 now.
Move it to 25, 22.
22,
So, I mean,
3 on injured reserve.
That's a lot.
Yes and no. When you think about it, I mean, I'm working with a team now. And we only got 50.
Andres, it's a lot compared to 5, right? Because it used to be 5.
Yeah,
right?
in the 80s.
Correct,
right.
Byron?
80s used to be 5. The 80s used to be
Right,
5, and then in the 90s they improved it to what was it? 15?
Yeah.
It wasn't until the 2000s.
I thought it was 5 for a long time. I thought it was like, yeah, in the 2000s when they really expanded.
In the 2000s is when they finally jumped it up to the 20s. And I think because of COVID, they're now at 25.
Yeah. I thought COVID was the main one that jumped them up. I thought they were at 5 for a long time. So, they could always go to the practice squad and go and make some.
No,
but hey, listen.
I'm sorry. It was 5 in the 80s. It jumped to 11 in the early 2000s, and then it kept jumping up after that.
I got it. Okay. All right. So we got those pickups there. That's the one that I wanted to talk about there, and I'm pretty happy with that. There also you got the mock draft, and then I also have here they're talking about I had some information regarding those picks, but
well, just remember, just throw this one thing out, and Alex knows this. They got 9,000 receivers. Name who the center is right now for the Giants.
The guy that you want, the center the one that you want to play left guard, no?
No, he's going to be a left guard. Bredinson is going to be
that's what I'm saying. The center we have now one at left guard.
Right, but if they had to line up with their best 5, he's going to be left guard. But they have no center right now because Feliciano went to the San Francisco 49er. So they're either going to have to sign a center from somewhere, or they're going to have to draft one. And if they draft one, they're most likely going to trade down, then select the center you want. You're not going to select the center at 25. No.
Well, that's what I was wondering is with all these wide receiver and tight end acquisitions, does that mean they're going to maybe pivot their draft strategy? Because obviously I think the expectation was wide out, but they've gotten a bunch of guys in the last week. Maybe not that the guy from USC won't be great, but maybe that changes things of what they're thinking to do on draft day.
Yeah, with 14 receivers, they got, you figure you got to put the best 5, together, or 6, or whatever the amount they're going to have, but they need to pick a center from somewhere.
Well, our biggest issue has been consistency, right?
Who?
Like, in other words, like Daniel Jones hasn't had a consistent set. Like once we had a decent set of regular receivers, he started playing, his game started playing better. We need some consistency at these positions.
Well, they got Waller now, tight end. They got Bellinger at tight end. So maybe they're going to do 2 tights. Waller, Byron, Bellinger, then the receivers, Hodkins, Campbell, Slayton, or whoever they're going to throw out there. Who knows what they're going to do? But what do I always say? You need to start at the offensive line. They need to fix the center position.
Right. And then they got Dallas apparently with that Ezekiel Elliott cutting. They got Dallas making some pretty good moves. They lost Connor McGovern, Schultz, Gifford, Quaid, Noah Brown, but they kept or retained Brendan Cooks, Stephon Gilmore, Donovan Wilson, Leighton Vander Esch, Cooper Rush. Obviously, they has a backup, TJ Godwin, Chuma Edega, Rico Dwaddle, Dante Fowler, and Ronald Jones. And then the Eagles pretty much kept quite a few of their players from the championship team.
Oh, Chauncey
They have-
Johnson
they have,
signed
like-
with the Lions. Their safety is gone.
Right.
But
And
here, let me throw this big one in here. I'm sure you haven't seen this here. Elliot, the 3 teams that he might pick from are the Eagles, Jets, or the Bengals to go to. That's what they were reporting earlier.
really, the Eagle. Who is it? The Eagles. Who?
The Eagles, the Jets, or the Bengals.
Are we sure Rogers is okay with working with Zeke?
Yeah, we got to check with Rodgers first. So,
They got to call Rogers up. You got his number, don't you? You hang out with him.
Who, me?
You like to call, yeah.
I'll mess with Rodgers, man. He's too much of a diva for me.
Did he tell you to lose his number?
He told me to lose his number like 2 weeks ago.
Why? What happened? Who did he say that? Why are you saying that? He must have said something.
He said that to some reporter. I think it was
Oh, it
Sheffield.
was Schefter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Schefter.
it was. He asked him about something. He said, I forget the exact quote, but he was like, "Lose my number."
Aaron Rodgers is something else, man. Let me tell you. What would you call it? Yeah. So Byron, why don't you talk about a little bit? Tell our listeners about what you were telling me about what we were texting each other. First of all, remember what I was telling you about? I'm going to say my one piece that I've been texting out. Right? Did you know that Rodgers is 80-10 when his defense holds the opponent under 20 points? And last year, the Jets averaged their defense giving up like 18 point something points per game. 80-10 under 20 is pretty impressive. Number one. Number two, why don't you tell them what you were talking about, the money that the Jets or that the Packers would save by not trading them until after June?
I think it was
20 million.
I think it was like $22 million or whatever it is. But you figure the Packers can hold on to them all the way up to open day. They can do whatever they want. You know, they have what the Jets want. So pretty much the Jets are at their beck and call. You know, they're like, because I think the Jets pick at 13. So maybe, they want that 13th pick this year and they want another number 1 pick next year for Rodgers. But who knows? But it's just, it's just weird, man, that they're going through this whole thing with him again. It seemed like it was the same thing with like with Favre back in the day. And you don't even know if this guy's really going to play next year.
Forget off your phone, man. Unless you're doing some
my
stats.
take, this is an odd thing to say. In a weird way, I feel like both the Jets and Packers have leverage, which is a weird sentence. Byron's right. The Packers know that the Jets want Aaron Rodgers. The Jets also know that Aaron Rodgers despises the management of the Packers and he doesn't want to play there. And they're going to have to pay a lot of money to him if they don't get rid of him. So in a way, both sides have leverage. I don't know how that works, but it's
How
kind
do
of
the Jets
crazy.
have
But it feels.
leverage?
Well, the Jets have leverage
Everything
because
you
Aaron
said, that
Rodgers
sounds
doesn't
like
want
the
to
leverage is on the Packers side. How do the Jets have
Well,
leverage?
I'm saying on both sides. I think the Jets have leverage because Rodgers doesn't want to play for the Packers anymore. He clearly just
Well, they
has
don't have
had how many
leverage. They
disagreements.
have I don't know if I would say leverage then. No, it's not really.
I don't know,
leverage.
boss.
They just-
I mean, at the end of the day, the ones who have the leverage are the ones who signed the $60 million contract. Just saying.
Right.
If I have the power of the pen and I signed that check, I got the power.
Mhm.
Not the guy who cashes that check after I signed it. The guy that works for me, you know, what was it that Shaq said? There is
Oh, that's a
there
fair point
is
because then they can get the
rich
money back.
and then
It's
there's
not like
wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, Chris Rock said that too. It is one of his kids. He goes, Shaq signed a well, Shaq is wealthy, right? But during
No,
the time
Shaq was
when he signed
rich.
$100 million contract, he said, Shaq is wealthy, man. And Chris Rock was like, he ain't wealthy, he's rich. The guy who signed that check is wealthy.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's 60 million reasons why that man is going to wear green.
It's
Now,
just-
which
it's gonna
green,
happen.
who
It's just a
knows?
matter
Kelly
of when. By the way, I
green or-
haven't found one Jet fan that would give up 2 first-round picks.
well, because they know.
And that
what
was
it
one of the
comes
biggest
with.
things, Stephen A. Smith was talking about. He likes, obviously he likes Aaron Rodgers, but none of the Jet fans would be willing to do it. And my argument is why wouldn't you? I don't think you have any to lose. You've been insignificant for years. Right?
Are you truly
Roll the
one
dice.
quarterback away from a Super Bowl?
You're not.
I
But
disagree.
you are
Then it's not worth the two
Aaron
draft
Rodgers. You are an Aaron Rodgers away from possibly winning the AFC East
But
or making the playoffs.
Nah,
but Aaron Rodgers 5 years ago or 10 years ago, or Aaron Rodgers
No,
in
right now,
2023?
Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets right now. They
I
got a shot
disagree.
at winning the AFC East or making the playoffs.
They're
Really?
not beating.
Wow.
They ain't
the
beating Buffalo.
I say make the
AFC East
playoff.
right now. No, not with
They
that.
make the
defense.
playoffs. That's a coup, Alex, for the Jets to make the playoffs.
Doesn't matter. Not with that defense.
What do you mean with the defense? The Jet defense is really good.
Not no more, because now you're giving all your money to a guy. You gotta let go of people. To come
gotta
up
sign
with
his friend,
$60 million, you know how many people they're gonna have to get rid of? Well, all their big contracts are in the defense. So what's gonna be left?
Because Quentin Williams, I don't think he signed. I don't think he's gotten paid yet. The defensive tackle for the Jets. So yeah, that's another big piece for them.
All I could say,
Well,
all I could say is to make room for a $60 million contract, there's gonna be a whole lot of people who are gonna be told to kick rocks.
Why is it when you say 60 million, is 60 million guaranteed for the first year?
No, this is his final
That's the
year
cap hit?
of his contract with Green Bay. For him to be removed from Green Bay to go to New York would have to absorb the $60 million contract. They don't even have that in cap space.
I thought there was a difference of like 25 million. Like Green Bay was paying up. If they trade him before the trade, they'd have to pay $20 million.
If he is on
if
the
they trade him
roster,
after June 1st, they're going to pay 15 million. So they're going to eat 15 million of that 60. There's no way Green Bay's going to pay. Green Bay's not going to walk away paying zero. So what am I
just
missing?
remember this: Green Bay is not a big market. They don't absorb money like that. Green Bay is owned by the fans. The fan.
No, I understand that.
GM
My question to you though is that Green Bay still, they're not going to relinquish, they're not going to give them away or not give them away, trade them and have zero payout. They're going to still pay a minimum of $15 million.
If I'm the GM, I'm not giving a red cent to a team who needs my guy, who I have on a guaranteed contract for $60 million. If he doesn't want to suit up on game one, no problem. He don't need the $60 million, and I keep the $60 million. But in order for him to start receiving his $60 million, he has to be on the roster for the season.
Yep.
Interesting.
If I'm the GM,
we'll see what happens. All right, but
I'm the GM.
let's talk
I'm
about
not giving up a red penny.
Okay, but let's remove the 60 million away. How Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets? The only thing that you did throw a little bit of spike in my argument if their defense gets dwindled down. I think Saleh's a good coach, right? But they still had a good defense. So if it just dismantles the defense, that's a different issue. But Andres, I look at it like I've talked about before. Aaron Rodgers going into the AFC East, in my opinion, the only one he's competing against is Josh Allen. I have no respect, no offense to Tua. I just don't have any faith in him lasting an entire season. I think Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones.
And you're telling me that the Patriots are not into play.
I think the Patriots are in the play, but I always look at it as if I have to go quarterback to quarterback, I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers over Mac Jones any day.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you just said who is on the AFC East, okay? In the AFC East, we don't respect Tua and the Dolphins right now. We don't think they have what it takes for the next level. They might be a wild card team again next year, but we don't think they're going to be the AFC East champions. You think that you, in your opinion, you are telling everybody that the Jets are one quarterback away from being the AFC East champions.
No, I'm staring Aaron Rodgers away. There's a big difference between one quarterback and an Aaron Rodgers.
You see,
So let's- so
I disagree.
I want to be
don't
clear
think
on
they're-
that.
I don't think
They're an Aaron Rodgers
away.
away from having a shot at making the playoffs. It's my true belief. I truly, and I think that the Bills went from a powerhouse. Everyone had them winning the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year to just plummeting in their play. Now, I don't know. It's because the Giants took all their coaches or whatever the deal is, but the Bills did not look good going into the end of the season and into the playoffs.
I think a lot of
can't
it
tell me-
had to do with the distractions that the Bills had to deal with those last 4 weeks of the season.
Right, with the
When you
snow
have
and all
a
that.
blizzard hit you, and you're think about it. This is how bad they treat their players over there in Buffalo. They're one of the few teams that don't have a roof for the players to park under when it snows. I mean, seriously, the logic behind it makes no sense. Where these guys have mountains on their cars. I know we all saw it on social media somehow, some way, or on traditional media, where these guys are driving their SUVs and their cars, and there's mountains of snow on top of the cars.
Or fans
All because
digging out players out of their
The team
house.
doesn't bother to put a roof over the
Oh,
cars.
they had fans digging players out of their houses?
Yeah,
They
you
were,
had
yeah.
you had one fan apparently show up with a bobcat and literally dig out Josh Allen.
We gotta go with the most support guy.
I get it, but seriously,
Yeah, I'd go get Josh Allen if I was in Buffalo.
but for the last 4 weeks of the season,
I'm just going to say the same thing. Like I said, if you put an Aaron Rodgers in a week in a conference where you're one of the top two quarterbacks, I think you got a shot. That's my
Top two,
opinion.
whoa. Top two quarterback, what the whole NFL or
in the AFC East, AFC East,
Well, I think the other thing
AFC
is
East,
there's that.
AFC.
I think also
East.
there's a couple different things with getting Aaron Rodgers on just face value would be great, but having to pay him $31 million this year, another $24 million if he even leaves or gets cut next year, as well as maybe what the Jets would have to part away with just to get a. How old is he now? He was drafted in 05.
He's not in his
An
40s.
aging quarterback.
He's not in his. He's not 40. He's 7 years younger than Brady.
Fair. But just, I think it's more so the cost of getting him, I think would be just too much for the Jets. Not just, hey, you can get him for like.
he's
a cheap
39,
deal.
gentlemen.
Whoa.
There we go. Thank you.
He's
I think that's
39,
what it is.
gentlemen. He's not worth not one or two first-round picks. He's maybe worth a second-round pick.
Wow.
I think
I
I
don't
disagree.
disagree with that. Today, is Aaron Rodgers. I don't disagree with
I
that.
disagree with it. Look, guys, you guys, I agree with it at its face value. I disagree with it when you're a Jet. Like, you got to do something. They're terrible. They're terrible.
San Francisco shopping around to see who wants Trey Lance.
Take him, younger and cheaper.
What do you mean, Trey Lance? They're shopping Trey.
They're
Wait a second,
shopping
time out.
Trey. They're shopping
they got
around
Brock
to see
Purdy
who wants
now.
Trey Lance.
So who's their quarterback?
Brock Purdy.
Wait a second. I thought the point of getting rid of Garoppolo was because of Trey Lance.
But Trey Lance, is he proven?
That's my point.
2
I would
years,
have
two injuries.
got rid of Trey Lance and kept Garoppolo.
And the new backup is Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's out there now. San
And
Francisco.
what's this stuff that Matt Stafford, they're looking to trade him?
To the Rams? Well, yeah, because they're in the complete. They've bottomed out after their Super Bowl. They went all in. They have no draft picks for the next 3-4 years. They're just selling. They got their ring.
Yeah, but they got a Super Bowl, which
And
goes
that's all
back
that really
to
mattered.
which is what I'm going back to Aaron Rodgers for the Jets. Make them something. That's it. He makes it. You cannot tell me Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets. He doesn't make them a contender
No, he does not.
for the AFC
A
East.
contender for a wild card spot, yes.
For the
To say
AFC
that-
East. That's it. I'm only talking about is getting them into the playoffs. That's it.
That Well, I mean, I guess by the fact that they would probably be the second. I don't know. I feel like Miami, even as sus as they are, I still think Miami could contend.
Not with that schedule next year. Unless
could-
Miami all of a sudden wakes up, they're not. They have a harder schedule next year.
Wait, doesn't
So,
the
there you
AFC
go.
East play the NFC East this year?
It's also where they're going to play in cold temperatures during cold days.
That's true.
There's no such thing as a Florida school or a Florida team that plays well in the cold. And all of a sudden, they're doing a whole the Buffalo. They play at Buffalo and at New England during cold months.
Mhm. And it's
Oh, we
that's
do
cold in
the
New
lost.
York.
AFC East this year. I'm
And it's cold in New
excited.
York.
Not
Right.
Buffalo cold.
Ain't
It's
Buffalo
not Buffalo
cold, but
cold.
it's
It
cold.
ain't New England
York is
cold.
cold. Huh?
Buffalo, New
Miami-
England, that's cold.
Miami's road games out of division are the Chiefs, Chargers, Ravens, Eagles, and Commanders. But we don't know when
Ooh.
because that's not till May.
And
when we
so
find
what
out
do
the
you think
schedule.
about if speaking of the Ravens, where do your guys take on Lamar Jackson? They made a great comment. They said that they're penalizing Lamar Jackson, and the guy who should have got penalized was the guy who should have got penalized was Deshaun Watson, not Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson seems to be getting more penalized than
You mean Deshaun Jackson?
Deshaun Watson. Deshaun
Watson.
Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson.
I honestly think that Cleveland went all in on that deal, and it screwed up free agency for the next 4 years.
And he's got
Why? Because of the
he's got
guaranteed
guaranteed
contract?
It's
$240 million.
guaranteed.
The whole thing.
Oh,
And all he had to sacrifice was what, $1 million this year just to sit out for half the season.
yes.
And do you also think he's going to be as
have,
terrible going forward, or is it just because of the fact he missed however much time because of the suspension is why he was that bad? Do we think he's going to be that terrible next year?
I don't think
I'm
he's
not
going
gonna
to
say
be
he's
that
gonna be like
terrible.
lights
I honestly
out.
think what's going to happen is
he's
finally
a good
going to get
quarterback.
back to
Outside
a
of his
football shape.
personal pieces, he's a good quarterback. I mean, there's no confusion. Out of his personal things, he's a good quarterback, and he could run. And Cleveland's already got a running team, right? So they got good running backs, and Lamar Jackson can run, and Lamar Jackson can throw.
And they had already a decent defense. They just needed an offense that could actually hold the ball.
And Bayfield didn't make Baker Mayfield go to the Rams.
No. Baker Mayfield went to
Panthers, right?
Tampa now.
He's down there with you, Victor.
Oh, Tampa. That's where
Go
it's at.
go
Tampa.
visit
He's in
your
Tampa
buddy.
now.
You go
He's in
play a little
Tampa, and
golf
they gave
with
him a
him.
guaranteed contract.
Woo, Baker
They
getting paid.
gave him a guarantee. What do you mean? Get 1 year though, bro?
A 1 year, guaranteed 1 year.
How much?
He didn't want a conditional. He got a guaranteed 1 year contract. So if they cut him, if they cut him in the middle of the year, they got to pay him the rest of the contract.
How much he get? How much was his contract?
That I can't remember. I know that they were in the running with the Saints to get him because the Saints wanted him.
Just as one little tidbit. Baker Mayfield talked smack about Daniel Jones when Daniel Jones got picked at number 6. And look who's on their 4th team.
I would also argue that
And look who got
Baker
paid.
Mayfield went through 4 offensive coordinators while in the Browns.
Yeah, but I don't.
Nobody should
Something's
deserve
wrong.
no quarterback should be judged by 4 different offensive coordinators, man.
Agreed.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait, Andre, can you say that again?
No quarterback should be judged
You
harshly.
know where this is heading, right?
I know he's talking about Trent
I picked
Richardson,
up on it,
about
Trent.
Anthony Richardson.
No.
He's talking about Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel
He's talking about
Jones.
Daniel Jones. I mean, come on, look at Byron. That's the first time Byron jumped out of his seat the whole show.
There is a
Did
guy.
you see how close he got to the camera?
Oh, he zoomed in. He did one of these.
Zoomed in, man.
He put his face right here.
I had to hear that one. That made my night.
Yeah, he's like, what? What'd you say?
He almost entered into my room.
I was close. Ooh,
I
feel
think with
great
Lamar
now.
Jackson.
Yes.
Didn't you pick Zach Jones from the Jets? What's his name? Zach Wilson as the rookie of the year too?
I sure did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Well, I think with Lamar
Okay,
Jackson,
well, I mean, I think
you don't watch it today. You don't watch today. Wait till after the draft. See, does the team maybe get desperate and like, okay, well, we don't want to sacrifice their first round this year, but maybe next year if they like don't win out on the draft. That's
you
what
know,
I think. Wait till
Byron.
May.
Speaking of your draft, I didn't see where were the picks that I thought the Bears got 2 first-round picks. Did you? Was
Hey,
that
on there?
hey, remember
They were on there.
remember the NFL still doing an investigation on the Miami Dolphins about their about possible
Flores thing.
tampering with Tom Brady.
I forgot
And-
about that. Yeah.
And if they do crack down on them, they're talking about removing the first 3 draft picks from them, man.
Ooh,
Damn.
that hurt.
Brady just
removing the
bought
first
a
3
Las
draft
Vegas
picks from the
team. Who did he
Dolphins.
buy? He bought a Las Vegas. He bought a
Oh,
Las
it was
Vegas
the
team.
WNBA team, the Aces.
He bought
Who
the
did?
Aces.
Tom Brady.
Oh, I bet he got it at a really good discount.
He got money like that, Victor?
Yeah, dude.
What I don't recall. I think he bought a share too. I don't think he's like the majority owner.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a very good
He's got
discount.
money,
It's the WNBA.
bro. It's still, he's still. They're saying that he bought
The
him just in
NBA
case the Raiders call him out of the booth.
Well, all I'm saying is the WNBA exists because the NBA cuts a check so that the WNBA can exist.
Hey man, I like
hold on,
the
hold on.
WNBA.
I've been rooting on these women for a while, but I have to admit, it's the way it works. The same way how all these AHL teams exist because the NHL teams cut checks so that the AHL teams could exist. The same way
can't believe
minor
Mark
league
Davis
baseball
owns that
exists.
team.
Huh?
Mark Davis owns which team?
Mark Davis owns the Las Vegas Aces, which is the WNBA team that Tom Brady now has a minority ownership stake in. That's just funny
The
to
dude
me.
with the bad haircut.
Yeah.
Like father, like
Who's that?
son.
Huh?
Hey, did you see Jordan finally sold his majority share? He sold the Hornets.
Yeah, I
Did
wonder
he
why.
sell it or he has it for sale?
For sale.
He
I think
sold
it's for
it.
sale.
No, I
Because
thought he
there's like
sold it.
multiple bids for it.
Okay, so it's for sale. Yeah, it's about time. He hasn't done anything with that team at all.
But he
No,
made
he only improved the value by 600%.
Yep. I think he bought it for 200 some million or 300 million. He's gonna get like almost what 3 billion or whatever crazy number it is.
Like $2.1 billion. Is what he's
Not a
gonna
bad
get now.
investment.
And that guy, he's amazing.
All I
I
can
mean,
tell
he's
you is,
not as an executive.
Everything
whoever
he
his
touches
business
is
man,
like platinum. I'm sorry.
all I can tell you is his
Except
businessman is the
being-
smartest guy in the room.
Who?
The businessman for Michael Jordan is the smartest guy in the room. He's the only guy who buys a defunct golf course and turns it into an invite-only golf course and turns around and sells that invite-only golf course from $40 million to $1.9 billion.
Ooh.
Oh,
Victor, you ever play there?
I'm still
did your
stuck
invite
on
get
the
lost
1.
in the mail?
I'm just stuck. I'm still stuck on the 1.9 billion.
$1.9 billion on a golf course sale that when he signed it away, he made it that all his family still had membership through perpetuity.
Wow.
You mean even his son who's dating Pippen's ex-wife?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Not allegedly, it's live. My
Allegedly.
wife watches that. My wife watches that show. It's for real. He was
Stop
on there.
watching that show. Allegedly. Allegedly.
Which one,
Watch it.
basketball
My wife
wise?
watches
The
it.
woman
Hey,
lives
listen.
in
Okay,
Miami.
so here's the question they asked. Here's a funny question. They said, if you marry whatever the Jordan Jr., whatever his name is, what's your last name going to be? It's going to be Jordan Pippen Jordan.
Oh, that's wrong, man. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's
But she
Yeah.
older too, man. She's
A
old
lot
enough to
older.
be his
She's
mama.
a lot older. Yeah. They're in Miami. They're here in Miami.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was gonna say.
the
It
one
was
thing I
it's
didn't
those-
know,
it's
but at
those
least to her
housewives of
defense,
Miami.
yeah, the Housewives of Miami, my wife watches, right? The one thing I didn't know, into her defense, is the fact that when she, married Scotty and so forth, Michael and his wife were already divorced. So it wasn't like they weren't an intertwined family. You know what I mean? It wasn't like she knew him as a kid and all that stuff. It's still kind of ironic that, I just thought it was a funny question too. What's your last name? Pippen Jordan, Jordan Pippen.
Hey
That's
man,
kind
she was shopping to high school for the next stud. That's what it was.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Is he playing? He doesn't play in the pros.
Oh man.
That's funny. All right, guys, we're gonna be wrapping this up. So, what else we got? We got anything else happening? What about on your side there, Andres? You got any hot news coming up?
Man, it's crazy, man. So the Maulers introduced everybody to their new uniforms. They finally made it public and whatnot. So if you follow USFL, I mean, you go ahead and you see our new uniforms came out. And
Awesome.
I'll say it publicly. They look like they look like they belong in a Pop Warner league. But okay, it's okay. Someone from the design team.
Be careful.
Someone from the
I can see they got the
design team
Pittsburgh
came up with
Steelers
that
colors.
design.
They still got the Pittsburgh Steelers colors.
It looks
Yeah, but
like
then they
San
messed
Diego
it up with a
Padres.
gray face mask. So I'm still wondering if Rydell
Here.
had a discount on gray face masks.
What was the name of the team? Is that the name that originally was the USFL
It's-
back in the day?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
they are only.
I
right
think they're
now,
all original.
Right now, they're only sticking with original cities and original names because when they bought the rights to the USFL, they were able to buy the rights of 90% of the team names. There was only a couple that they actually had to go out of their ways to go get. I think the Blitz is one of them that they had to go out of their way to pay somebody who bought the rights to the name. And I think there was another two or three teams out there that they had to go out of their way to go get it.
A New Jersey
sorry?
guy played with that team, Mike Rozier, back in the day.
Oh, yeah. I remember Rozier. But then he played for Nebraska?
Wild ride.
And he's from Camden too.
Didn't Rozier play for Nebraska when they were freaking beasts?
Yeah, when they lost to Miami the last game.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is, and I can say this publicly without getting in trouble, is we're getting a lot of CFL guys. We're getting a lot. No, this is Utah. This is the U.
Oh, that's right.
There you go.
Ooh.
Ooh, you almost messed that up, Victor.
Yeah, they messed it up.
I mean, he only lives down the street from the stadium.
Hey, come on, man. I got a host. I got work. I got to do a lot of stuff here.
But no. Long story short, I could say this without getting in trouble that we're getting a big influx of CFL guys that are Americans that they're realizing that they could stretch their paychecks better with us than they will with the CFL. And they're trying to extend their football days with us. So a lot of these young cats that still have it, heck, a couple of the quarterbacks that, they're a little bit older. They're just tired of going over the border every time just to continue their careers are ending up with us. So, I mean, it's nice for some of these guys to be able to prolong their careers. It's really nicer for these young guys that they were either at smaller schools and got overlooked and they got that chip on their shoulder and want to prove that they belong.
Well, Byron, who are you drafted by, Byron?
Well, Oklahoma Outlaws, and then I got traded to the Tampa Bay Bandits.
Bandits. You've been playing with Steve Young back then, boy.
He was playing with Steve Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier was the head coach there.
Oh, didn't Steve Young play? Where did Steve Young play?
He played with Los Angeles Express.
Oh, the Express. That's right. No, but who played with
I think
who's the
Steve
quarterback?
Young play for the Buccaneers or something. I swear I've seen him in like that cream, like orange.
So
No,
Steve
Steve Young played for
the Buccaneers.
Steve Young did play for the Buccaneers?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where he went first.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, back where that back when the creamsicle guys used to go where everybody went there to
Hey, I
play
like
with Leroy
creamsicles.
Selman.
I
Yeah,
love
they had
creamsicles.
they had creamsicle uniforms, yes.
They were nice. I thought they were pretty sharp. They were nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
and when it's
they were good.
105 degrees in the sombrero, yeah, you need something blaze orange to help you out.
And the concrete, like the big sombrero, that old stadium they got today.
Well, the stadium that they have today is freaking awesome. It's just there's no wind.
It's amazing. It's the old.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
the old stadium was horrible. They played, and they had no wind.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna start wrapping this up. Wow, the first time we stayed late and Eric didn't join the show.
They have a basketball game. They get ready for basketball game tomorrow.
Oh, they get ready for basketball game. All right, good. All right. Well,
Hey,
gentlemen,
it was overtime.
before we sign off, I want to say again, thank you for joining. You guys are always welcome to join. I hope things are going well in everybody's families out there. Don't forget, every Thursday, please, guys, when you get the links, share our show to your friends and so forth. Every Thursday. What time, Byron?
8 o'clock. 8.
What time, Alex?
Wait. Show those again. Show those fingers again.
8 o'clock. 8
This
o'clock.
clown keeps on putting 9 fingers, man.
Why does he put 9?
Hold on.
Why does he keep doing 9? I was like trying to count
I'm
myself.
telling you, man.
We
This
got the
book
spin
dog
zone.
can't get it right.
PM at PM,
What was that?
8 Eastern, 9
8
o'clock
Eastern.
Atlantic time.
9 o'clock, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and
Whatever time it is out
5
there.
o'clock the Pacific time.
Pacific.
So every Thursday, please join the show. But we are live streaming on Facebook. You can see us. You can see our show after this. Please post your comments. Please post any information. We'll reply to you either by video or by text. Byron, when do you think you're going to have your next depth chart for the Giants after the draft?
I'm going to do it next week because they're at the 90 that they're supposed to have, I think. If they
All right,
change.
well, let's see what we have there, and then you're going to have another mock draft coming up. You going
Yeah, I have
to make
3.
any changes?
Yeah, I have 3 next week since you did 1.
So you have 3.0 next week. Okay, great. So don't forget to join us. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Sportscast on all your channels, on Spotify, on Twitter, on YouTube. Hit the notification button. There's a playlist, the Jersey Boys Sports Talk. We're here every week with some great guests like we have today, knowledgeable sports people. We have some fun. We have some argument. And we try to bring up some pretty good topics. We have some clips. Again, I want to do a shout out to the Graziani family and Nova Southeastern University. Hopefully they win the national championship. Really proud of Dallas. And Santiago, if you get a chance, please cut that clip for the Nova Southeastern University Sharks, Dallas Graziano and the Sharks. Wish them nothing but the best winning the national championship. We got the bracket coming up. We have the NCAA Division I championship is going on right now through the rest of the year. Let's see what happens there. And gentlemen, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Byron, thank you for everything that you do. And the Lady Gamecocks, is that tournament is going on now too? No.
What, the women's?
There's the 16 for the women's tomorrow. South Carolina.
Okay. South Carolina. Yeah, that lady's done a great job. Let me tell you, man, some of those women coaches in the women's division in college, it seems like not just the women coaches, the coaches themselves, because Gino Auriemma, but it seems like once they get on a run, they stay on a run. Like Tennessee had their run. Obviously, UConn had that massive run, and now Carolina's having a moment.
Oh
yeah. So it seems like once they get those girls. Yeah, I like women's college basketball because I think that's probably the most team sport played that I've ever seen. Like they literally play team basketball. Right, it's a unit played as opposed to one or two dominant players. Right, you'll have a few men's basketball teams that'll share it. Hence why I think that's why I like I'm a Miami Heat fan, but I like the way the Warriors play because the Warriors move that ball around a lot. You know what I mean? And I think that when you move that ball around a lot and a lot of people getting different shots, I kind of enjoy that type of basketball. Okay, again, don't forget to join us next week. Share our show, listen to the show, put the notifications on, go to the past, download Byron's mock drafts from the Jersey Boy Sports Talk, 8 o'clock, regardless of how many fingers Byron is showing. And we really woke Byron up when we talked about how many
offensive coordinators for the quarterback?
Coordinators, a quarterback. You can't blame a quarterback. So Byron, never seen Byron jump out of his seat that fast.
Almost
All
fell
right,
out my chair.
gentlemen, you have a great night. God bless your families. Prayers to everybody out there. And thank you again. And we'll talk soon. Peace.